Hello everyone and welcome to your channel IELTS Perfection. Today's video is about describing graphs in IELTS Writing Task 1. By the end of this video, you'll learn a simple 5-step formula to describe any IELTS graph, master graph vocabulary and band-aid examples, discover how to write Task 1 clearly and confidently, and know how to start, organize, and compare data like a pro. So, if you're ready, let's get started. In IELTS Writing Task 1, you'll be given a visual, maybe a line graph, bar chart, pie chart, or a table. And your task is to summarize the main features and make comparisons where relevant. You're not giving opinions or reasons here. Your goal is to describe key trends, comparisons, and significant features. Your job is simply to describe what you see in a clear academic way. I call this 5-step formula IPODC or IPODC. This is the magic formula that works for every Task 1 graph question. Step 1. Identify the graph. Step 2. Paraphrase the question. Step 3. Overview. Step 4. Describe details or body paragraph 1. And Step 5. Compare and contrast, body paragraph 2. This formula is simple, clear, and examiner-friendly. Let's start with the first step, identify the graph. Before you start writing, you must analyze what you see. This step takes just 30 to 60 seconds, but it sets up everything that follows. So you probably ask what to analyze. Type of visual like graph, bar chart, pie chart, table, or process diagrams. What it shows, what is being measured, population, sales, percentage, etc. Units and scales. Are the numbers in millions, percentage, dollars? And what's the time range? Years, months, or no time at all? And the main features. Any big trends, high points, or low points you noticed at the first glance. Step 2. Paraphrase the question. This means rewriting the task statement in your own words without changing the meaning. If you want to know more about paraphrasing techniques, you can watch the last video on IELTS Perfection. Now let's see a good example of paraphrasing.
The line graph below shows the percentage of households with internet access in 5 countries between 2000 and 2010. The line graph illustrates the proportion of households in 5 different countries that had access to the internet over a 10-year period, from 2000 to 2010.
So, I use the number of synonyms, illustrates or depicts instead of shows, and proportion instead of percentage. Also, I change the sentence structure a little bit. Now let's see another example, which is for a bar chart.
The bar chart shows the number of students who studied computer science in 5 different countries in 2020. The bar chart compares the figures for students studying computer science in 5 countries in the year 2020.
Here, instead of shows the number, I used compares the figures. And instead of students who studied, I changed it to students studying. Easy peasy, right? Step 3. Overview. The overview is the most important paragraph in your report. It's the summary of the main trends. No numbers, no details, just the overall picture. Use this paragraph to show that you understand what's happening in general. There are 3 main steps to write the overview. Identify the main trends. Is the trend increasing, decreasing, or fluctuating? Mention the highest and lowest figures, and add any obvious comparisons. Let's see an example. In this line graph, we see the consumption of fast food by Australian teenagers. The items are pizza, fish and chips, and hamburgers.
In general, the consumption of pizza and hamburgers has considerably increased, whereas intake of fish and chips has declined a great deal in the 25 years period.
The next example is a bar chart showing some information about full-time and part-time education between males and females.
Overall, the number of men and women studying part-time outnumbered those studying full-time by a significant margin. While both modes were relatively similar between the sexes, there was some variance, especially in the 1990s, when the number of women studying part-time increased substantially.
Piece of cake, right? Step 4. Describe the details, or body paragraph 1. Now that we have given the big picture, let's go into the details. Paragraph 3 is where you describe the first group of data. So, you need to focus on main trends. For example, the countries or categories that increased the most or started high and stayed high. Let's continue with the examples to understand it better. So here we have the same example for consumption of fast food by teenagers in Australia.
Pizza consumption gradually increased beginning from the mid-70s by 5 times per year until the mid-80s by well over 30 times a year. The trend continued with a sharp rise to approximately 85 times per year from 1985 to 1995. Hamburgers experienced quite the same radical increase in popularity, beginning at just 10 times per year in the mid-70s and recording a value of nearly 85 times per year in the mid-90s. The consumption rate of both pizza and hamburgers slowed significantly from the mid-90s onwards to approximately 100 times and 85 times per year, respectively.
The body paragraph for the second example could be something like this.
With regard to full-time education, the number of male students approximately doubled from about 100,000 in 1970 to just over 200,000 by 1991. The trend for women was less consistent, rising sharply in the first decade before tapering off to reach almost the same level as men by the 1990s.
And step 5 is compare and contrast, or body paragraph 2. The final paragraph is where you talk about the remaining data and make comparisons. You can use contrast words like while, whereas, by contrast, in comparison to, or unlike. There are some little things that you need to remember. Don't describe every small number. Focus on trends and differences and use comparative language like higher than, lower than, twice as much as, slightly below, or roughly equal to. Now let's continue with examples and see what could be a possible body paragraph 2.
Fish and chips, the most consumed fast food in the beginning of the trend, fluctuated in the years 1975 to 1985 between 100 times per year down to 80 times a year, and from the mid-80s on experienced quite a sharp reduction from nearly 95 times a year to about 40 times a year. The number of males engaged in part-time study during the 3-period fluctuated, dropping from approximately 1 million to 900,000. Meanwhile, women studying part-time steadily increased from nearly 800,000 in 1970 to 71 to well above 1 million in 1990 to 91.
Alright, now let's see some vocabulary and phrases that you can use in your writings. That's it. If this video helped, like, share, and subscribe to IELTS Perfection for more high-scoring lessons. See you in the next video.